Direct News TV. January 10, 2024. Israel's war on Gaza live, Israeli attack near hospital kills and wounds 40. Israeli bombing near Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital in Deir el-Balah, in central Gaza, kills at least 8 people, medical sources tell Al Jazeera. Gaza's government media office says 40 have been killed and wounded. Latest attack comes as Israel has intensified bombing and ground incursions in central and southern Gaza, with at least 147 people killed in the past day. Poll shows large majority of Saudis support Arab states breaking ties with Israel. A poll of 1,000 Saudis released by the Washington Institute for Near East Policy, a U.S. think tank, has found that 96% of respondents agree that Arab states should sever all existing diplomatic, economic, and political ties with Israel. While closer ties between Israel and Saudi Arabia were a central aim of U.S. foreign policy in the region in the months preceding the current war, the poll suggests that such policies continue to face substantial opposition from the Saudi public. More than 90% also agreed with the statement that, despite the destruction and loss of life, this war in Gaza is a win for the Palestinians, Arabs, and Muslims. Kogat official denies food shortage in Gaza. An Israeli official with the military body in charge of Palestinian affairs, the coordinator of government activity in the territories, Kogat, has denied that there is a food shortage in Gaza despite overwhelming evidence that Israel's assault has plunged the Gaza Strip's population into a severe hunger crisis. The assessment we all have, with the UN and other organizations, show that there is sufficient aid, said Moshe Tetro, blaming international aid groups for struggling to process aid. In terms of food, the reserves in the Gaza Strip are sufficient for the near term. There is no food shortage in Gaza. The UN recently found that 1 out of every 4 Palestinians in Gaza is starving. UK Defence Minister decries largest attack on country's navy in decades. Grant Shapps, in a post on X, says that yesterday's Houthi attacks on the Royal Navy warship the HMS Diamond saw the successful destruction of 7 drones. Shapps thanked the crew of the ship for their heroic service and for continuing to defend innocent lives and global trade from these intolerable Houthi attacks. Israel publishes website depicting October 7 attack. Facing accusations of genocide at the International Court of Justice, ICJ, as it carries out one of the most destructive military campaigns in modern history, the Israeli government has published a website with gruesome photos from the October 7 Hamas attack on southern Israel. Israeli government official Moshe Aviv said that the website will assist Israel in its goal to remind the world that we are the victim in this unprecedented terror event. The website, which is blocked within Israel and comes with a warning of extreme viewer discretion, shows photos of slain Israelis, bloody floors, and charred bodies. Israel targeting Palestinian civilians to fuel conflict, ministry. Israel is deliberately attacking civilians to expand the cycle of violence, says the Palestinian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Israel is systematically carrying out acts of terrorism against civilians by carrying out raids, detentions, extrajudicial assassinations, the ministry said in a statement. There has been an increase in the severity of these acts in the occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem, since the genocidal war against our people in Gaza began. Red Crescent workers break down after colleagues are killed in Israeli attack. Earlier, we reported that 4 members of a Red Crescent ambulance crew had been intentionally targeted and killed according to the organization. Report: ADL will include pro-Palestine rallies in tally of anti-Semitic incidents. The Anti-Defamation League, ADL, a group that tracks anti-Semitism in the United States, will include pro-Palestine rallies in its tallies of anti-Semitic incidents, according to a report in the U.S. news outlet The Jewish Forward. While critics have previously said that the ADL fails to adequately distinguish between criticism of Israel and anti-Semitism, the report in the Forward says that the ADL has significantly widened its definition to include pro-Palestine rallies that feature anti-Zionist chants and slogans. The ADL released a report today claiming to find 3,283 incidents of anti-Semitism since October 7, but roughly 1,300 of these, or 40%, appear to be rallies featuring anti-Zionist chants and slogans, events that have not been counted in any previous tally. Arno Rosenfeld, who covers anti-Semitism for The Forward, wrote in a social media post. Erdogan says arrest of Israeli spy network is only first step. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says that a Turkish operation against an alleged Mossad spy ring seriously surprised Israel. Erdogan made his comments in Ankara in an event that marked the 97th anniversary of the establishment of Turkey's intelligence agency, MIT. Just wait. This is only the first step. You will get to know Turkey, he added, hinting that new counterespionage operations against alleged Israeli spy networks could be underway. On January 2, Turkish authorities rounded up more than 30 individuals over suspected links to the Mossad. Israeli attack in Beirut clearly in violation of international law. While Israel is preparing for a genocide case at the ICJ that will scrutinize its activities in Gaza, a UN counterterrorism rapporteur says that the country's targeted assassination program has flouted international law and the sovereignty of other nations for years. Hamas's original attack on Israel on October 7 came from the territory of Gaza. It did not come from Lebanon, and by escalating the conflict to the territory of Lebanon by striking Hamas leaders there, Israel is clearly in violation of international law, UN Special Rapporteur on Human Rights and Counterterrorism Ben Saul told Al Jazeera. It's not a new phenomenon. Of course Israel has been assassinating its perceived enemies for many, many decades, he added. Israeli army says it completed operations in Qusay. The military claims that soldiers from its 5th Reserve Brigade killed numerous Hamas fighters and destroyed infrastructure for the group on the outskirts of Khan Yunis. According to the army, the 5th Brigade demolished hundreds of Hamas sites in Qusay, including rocket launchers, observation posts, caches of weapons, tunnel shafts and underground tunnel networks. Palestinians celebrate South Africa in Ramallah rally. As the International Court of Justice prepares to consider whether Israel is committing genocidal acts in its war on Gaza, Palestinians in Ramallah have gathered for a rally celebrating South Africa, the country that first submitted the case against Israel and a nation with long-standing ties to the Palestinian cause. This rally is actually under the banner of "Thank You South Africa." Al Jazeera correspondent Hoda Abdulhamid reported near a crowd gathered around a statue of Nelson Mandela in Ramallah. South African flags could be seen waving in the background. This rally started with words from the mayor of Ramallah, who said South Africa represented a beacon of hope for the Palestinians, reminding them that deep-rooted relations between South Africa and the Palestinians go back to the days of Nelson Mandela. Leaders of Egypt, Jordan, and Palestine, more pressure needed to end Gaza fighting. The office of Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi has released a statement on a meeting with Jordan's King Abdullah and Mahmoud Abbas, the leader of the Palestinian Authority, calling for greater international pressure for a ceasefire and increased aid to Gaza. The statement, released as the three leaders meet for a summit in Aqaba, also says that any effort to separate the paths between the future of the occupied West Bank and the Gaza Strip must be rejected. The Jordanian government also released a statement saying that Egypt and Jordan firmly reject any effort to liquidate a future Palestinian state. Blinken on the day after Gaza war. Blinken says that during meetings in Bahrain, he discussed the role that regional powers will play in post-conflict Gaza. He spoke of efforts that countries around the region are clearly prepared to make, to bring countries together to integrate the region, adding that this would happen in a way that provides for the security of Israel and also provides a pathway to Palestinians for a state of their own. Blinken said that Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas agreed to move forward and engage in some of these efforts in a meeting earlier today, and that he is prepared to reform the PA so it can take control of a united Gaza and occupied West Bank. If you're just joining us, it's 6 p.m., 1600 hours Greenwich Mean Time, in the occupied Palestinian territories and Israel. Here are some of the main developments. At least 40 Palestinians were killed and wounded after an Israeli attack targeted a residential home with 3 missiles near the entrance of Al-Aqsa Martyrs Hospital in Deir el-Balah. The Office of the Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court has opened a digital platform for people to submit complaints online with evidence of Israeli war crimes. More than 800 scholars and practitioners of international law and genocide studies support South Africa's genocide case against Israel in the International Court of Justice. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas in the occupied West Bank city of Ramallah, where they discussed efforts made to stop the Israeli war on Gaza. My name is Kingsley. Please like, share, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be the first to be notified whenever we post. You won't regret it.